Hi, welcome to 2024 and to the monthly read and to the cards and channeling meetup, depending on how long you'll be dropping in for this video. Because as you know, the monthly read is available to all Patreon subscribers at any tier. And then at the end, I pull a key card and individual card pulls for those who are at the doing the most tier, which is $10 a month on Patreon. Otherwise, maybe you're a YouTuber and you get this like the month after. Either way, I hope it's working for you. Welcome. Hi. Hello. Happy 2024 year of strength in tarot. So what we're going to do is what we always do, and that's do the monthly read. And then, okay. And then I will do the key card for those who will be over and around for that. And then I'll do individual card pulls for those who ask. Interesting. Okay. That card like flipped over. I know you heard that. So it's like, the only deck that's coming forward for the monthly read is Manzel Tarot, a tarot deck I've been using for years, courtesy of the homie Aurelia Palmarin. Thank you, homie, for buying that for me. Um, and okay, one more card. Okay, I think that's a done deal. Concern, the opportunity, the obstacle, and the advantage version. Okay, so new year, same deal though. This is the monthly read, the C.O.A reading. The C stands for the concern, the O stands for the opportunity or the obstacle, and the A stands for the advantage or the aversion, right? And I've shuffled the cards as you saw, and now I will be turning them over because I haven't seen them yet. We were going to find this out together. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, the energy is giving starting with a bang, okay? First of all, our concern card is the King of Cups. You know, the homie Tatiana Tarot was talking about this, that like love energy was nigh in a lot of people's charts, and I know that she does them astrologically, pulls cards by astrological associations, right? By your sign, but you get to look for whatever reasons you want to look. Anyways, point being that the energy was giving romance, and actually that's not untrue. I've been getting that energy, some knocks on of that regard. So whether this, I mean, obviously cups represents water, it represents creativity, and it represents the liquids in the body, right? The urine, the blood, the vaginal secretion, the semen. So it obviously represents all the vital fluids in the body and therefore represents procreation in that way. Also, cups represents one-on-one relationships. And in the, sort of heteronormative construct of relationship, that's a one-on-one relationship, right? So, but that's true whether that's friend, friend, lover, lover, a sibling, child, sibling, sibling, So there, it's just the relationship between you and one other individual, like, right? The self and the other self. Well, the other self. You may not see them as the other self, but that's what I call them. So with the King of Cups here, first of all, we're dealing with I think of King of Cups as the orc energy, to be honest. It's like for the satisfaction of the person, it's for the emotional satisfaction, the emotional truth, and the creative honesty of the individual for which the endeavor is being made. Yes, of course, that could be a romantic relationship, but it also cups rules creativity. That could just also be like your vocational purpose, your calling, your passion, your joy, right? Like it could be the year of actually committing to what you most prefer to do with your space and time, right? Because you are made up of space and time. Obviously, in our reality, we say 4 dimensions, 3 dimensions of space, 1 dimension of time. You are made up of 3 dimensions of space, 1 dimension of time, and I'm sure many other things. But in our reality, that's what we perceive, and from a 4 dimensional perspective. So, what is your passion? What is your calling? What you want to spend and occupy yourself doing, is giving King of Cups. Also, with the King of Cups, let's say it is about like romance and relationship. This is someone who is is very emotionally intelligent. You know that I think of emotional intelligence as at least a 5-step process, right? Step one is you feel away because you're a human being and you feel that is part of the package. Step two is you recognize you feel away because you're the only person within your consciousness awareness and you have to validate your own feelings. Step three is once you recognize you feel away, you think back on the people, place, and things that might have been involved the last time that you felt that way, if you've ever felt that way before. Step four, most important step, very important. I usually say, look in the mirror, literally point at yourself and ask yourself, the me of now, do I like feeling this way? And based on your answer to step four, then there is step five, taking an action. Now, obviously, if you like feeling that way, you'll invoke more of the people, places, and things that make you feel that way in step five. And if you don't like feeling that way, you should be invoking less of the people, places, and things that make you feel that way in step five. But the point is that the King of Cups is an emotionally intelligent person. This is somebody who has and continues to do the work, somebody who self-reflects, somebody who is willing to do the emotional labor of being present to somebody else, not only somebody else. This is also the king position, right? This is still like a rulership position. So this is somebody who's willing to help other people go through the process of coming into their emotional intelligence or doing their emotional labor, whether that means with a light touch, right? Like just passing through here, or whether that means in an involved way where they're sort of like a master apprentice sort of relationship. So on the one hand, this can be students who are looking for teachers, finding the right person. This can be someone finding the right persons romantically, and this can be someone finding the right persons creatively, vocationally, purposefully, in a way where you feel like emotionally satisfied, right? I said, in my opinion, the King of Cups is Bjork, right? Like Bjork doesn't give a fuck if we like what she makes. She's making it. It's her shit and she owns it and she likes it and she doesn't release anything that she doesn't like. Particularly at this stage in her career. And she's very articulate and also very particular. That's the word I was actually going for. Articulate, but also very particular about how she wants her work to be consumed, you know? So it's an emotional connection that we have with the King of Cups here as the concern. And that it's emotionally true and emotionally sincere and emotionally real is what makes it valuable, right? Like, why would I care? Because you do. Okay. So card number two is our opportunity obstacle. How are we treating the King of Cups? Is as an opportunity or an obstacle? Now, as you know, I don't read reversed, but I'm not going to lie to you. The last two cards came upside down, and they're both major arcana. So I just feel like that's an energy saying that, you know, we need to turn our frowns upside down. There's maybe a lot of people who are willing to make a bad thing out of a good thing, right? Like that we have to have gratitude and compassion and care for our circumstances. You thought I was going to say for other motherfuckers. No, for you, bitch. You're supposed to have it for yourself. So like, also don't assume the worst. Don't assume that existence isn't supporting you. Don't assume that you are not intentional and intended for and supposed to be here doing what you prefer to be doing to the best of your ability. Obviously not being able to control the circumstances outside of you, but you never could. So that's not news. Okay. So our opportunity obstacle card is the Wheel of Fortune. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Keep it pretty, pretty, pretty. Oh, did I even really show you the King of Cups? Wait. Yeah, that's my camera. I was like, where is it? So look at that. Look at that. Perfect. Uh-oh. Oh, okay. That was weird. So the Wheel of Fortune. Okay. So with the Wheel of Fortune, obviously, I was just talking about the Wheel of Fortune. Like what most goes up must come down, and what is down must come up, and that's on physics. Okay. But with the Wheel of Fortune, we're also talking quantum physics, right? I always emphasize that when we talk Wheel of Fortune, sometimes we really think about like a two-dimensional or three-dimensional circumstance. Certainly on a linear plane, we think about it, right? And for me, I really encourage that you think of the Wheel of Fortune like a marble, right? A marble in like infinite space and infinite gravity, right? Where it's like, yes, it goes forward and backward, it goes around, it goes up and down, but it also goes diagonally and it dangles and it goes up and down and it goes, all in every direction. So it's not that fortune goes this way or that way. Fortune can go any way. Okay. Fortune can be anything. And we know that because over, hundreds of thousands of years of humanity evolving, abundance has been, you know, strength or cunning or, a strong stomach to be able to taste things in new environments or cowrie shells or stones or cowrie shells or stones or any kind of thing where we're talking about like how things were valued at a particular place in time, right? So, if you're new here, hello, hello. The deck that came forward was Manzel's Tarot, and the concern card for January and also just the beginning of 2024 is Le King of Cups, which I was talking about. Tatiana Tarot talking about a lot of like romance happening this year, but also like falling in love with your purpose, your vocation, yourself, um, with your ability to identify with what is your, purpose, what you're doing here. I think of the King of Cups as Bjork. So I was saying it's about your own emotional satisfaction. That's your shit. You made that for you. It's not really about how people feel about it, right? But our opportunity obstacle, as I had just said, both of the opportunity obstacle and advantage aversion cards are major arcana, and both of them came reversed. And even though I don't read reversed, I think it's important that we make sure that we're not um, coming from a negative neutral as opposed to a neutral neutral, right? Like we don't want to assume the worst, and we also don't want to make a bad thing out of an opportunity or even out of something neutral. So the wheel of time comes to be the opportunity, the obstacle. But I always emphasize it's not just what goes up must come down. It's not forwards and backwards. Think of the wheel of time more of like the wheel of fortune. I call it the wheel of time. Think of the wheel of time, the wheel of fortune, the medicine wheel as a marble, right? Like it can go in any direction. Can have any sense of equilibrium depending on what the spatial gravity is in the circumstance. So when I see Wheel of Fortune as an opportunity or obstacle after the King of Cups, I'm thinking like this is an opportunity for you to be as satisfied as you can with yourself, regardless of the circumstances. Because it's another thing about the Wheel of Fortune. It's about all circumstances. It's not just about the circumstances you prefer, it's about all the circumstances, right? Like the wheel has many points along it, and you can be on any one of those points along the spectrum. So it's also about recognizing like existence is what it is. It's not so much about trying to be in control, right? Now, control, when it got to Latin, meant to go against the wheel, right? Which is going against gravity, which is going against nature, which is going against, common sense. But before it got to Latin in the Proto Indo European, control actually meant going with the wheel, going with the seasons, right? So the Wheel of Fortune is also about letting things be what they are, but also recognizing from what things are or what they are not, what you are and what you are not. Big part of King of Cups is taking like emotional responsibility for yourself, right? Like that's why that's such a desirable lover when you get that card. If you're thinking about romantic things, this is somebody with emotional intelligence. This is somebody who does their own emotional baggage lifting. This is somebody who is willing to acknowledge their ego, what is theirs, what is not theirs. This is somebody who's willing to go through ego dissolution. Let it be you, motherfucker. Like, let it be you. So with the Wheel of Fortune as an opportunity obstacle, it's like don't allow the circumstances to determine who you will be for yourself. Allow who you will be for yourself to determine who you will be for yourself, regardless of the circumstances, right? Like this is about um, what authority you do have. It's not about the authority that you do not have. And then also recognizing that the original understanding of control is to go with what is, to work with what is, not to go against what is, right? That is like all of human history, basically going against what is. Now, the advantage aversion card, right? What about our characters helping or hurting the situation? As I also said, came upside down, even though I don't read reverse. And this is the motherfucker that flipped over first when I was shuffling in the beginning. And that is the High Priestess. Okay, look at them eyes. All right. So, first of all, it's about you in this situation, right? It's about your intuition. It's about what you need to be doing for yourself. Um, one of my teachers says that the least selfish thing you can do is be yourself because it allows people to make an informed decision about whether they fuck with you or not, right? Whether they, of course, yes, it would be wonderful to, if not be liked by all people, to live in a world neutral enough that even if people didn't like you, it didn't matter much because they didn't take it personally and neither did you, okay? And to the best of your ability, please be that world, be that self, okay? But in the circumstances where, people will take the way that you are in a way that is more personal than it needs to be taken, it's important that you are at the very least being authentic because then nothing is wasted, right? Like if you are being yourself and people don't fuck with that, well, like what else is there? What else are you supposed to be doing? Especially when major arcana, I always say, is the spiritual purpose, the existential purpose, not who am I, which is an intellectual question, but like existence and all your infiniteness. You needed me. Yes, motherfucker. So like that's what the major arcana is about. It's about being willing to own the space time coordinates that you make up, right? The three dimensions of space, the one dimension of time, the literal reality that you are, being able to and being willing to navigate that from a place of, dynamic neutrality, but also a place of authority, a place of this is what I actually have authority over. This is what I actually control. So with that high priestess, of course it's about, intuition and also just being sensitive, right? Like just being acknowledging your senses, like allergies and shit, like down to that, right? Like not putting yourself in a situation where you're continuously exposing yourself to things that make you feel deteriorated in your health, which is my Substack digest word of December, okay? And health, now that I've done enough writing on it, I can like lay it out for you. So health means whole, uninjured, of good omen, okay? Whole means whole, uninjured, of good omen. So we can just knock those. Those are the same motherfucker. Okay, then uninjured means uninjured is a liminal space word, okay? Because it's a double negative. Un and in both mean not, right? So it's not, okay? So, and then the jurist either means sacred formula or it means law. So uninjured means not sacred formula. Uninjured means not law, so that's why I'm saying it's liminal space. It's not the law, but it's not the law. You know what I'm saying? So it's that kind of liminal space, which is also very high priestess, okay? And then of good omen means basically observer of birds, okay? Fitting, suitable observer of birds. Like in Rome, there was a whole segment of society where motherfuckers just observe birds, okay? And that's not unintelligent. First of all, we know that the closest relative to the dinosaur is the bird, right? So these are OG motherfuckers. But also, like at first sign of earthquake, the birds is gone. Okay. Volcanoes, they've been gone. Okay. Eclipse, they go quiet. Like they tell you what is happening. So there's a reason to study birds, right? So with the high priestess, it's also like you need to understand seasons, nature, yourself, essentially, with the high priestess. You need to be willing to navigate and to take as a central occupation figuring out your identity. Because all this work that we've been doing to control, to go against the wheel, to decide for other people what their identity is, what their choices are, what borders they can cross, what resources they can have, what value they have. All of this is futile in the sense that it has never stopped anybody in the future from being like, nah, fuck that. Okay. So if it was self-sustainable, eventually people would just be like, yes, you're right. You tell me everything that I'm supposed to do. I listen to you, whatever you say, but no one is doing that. Okay. No one is doing that. So with a high priestess, it is very much about sort of like, I mean, not the one, but the two. Okay. So the magician is about what do I have here? But the high priestess is like, that's your shit. That's your shit. And it's very important also to recognize that while you're, blocking and blocking, if existence keeps bringing something to your doorstep, it is your shit, motherfucker. Like, let synchronicity be your guide. So January is coming in kind of sexy. Like, I mean, I feel like when you come with the King of Cups, because that was the only card that came upright, it's giving there's an ease opportunity here, okay? But with that major arcana, it's like you have to be aligned with yourself, with your spiritual purpose, which is yourself. You have to be honest about who that is to the best of your ability, taking it as far as you can with no insistence on the outcome, while allowing other people to do the same and learning from what you see to decide who you are again ad infinitum, or until you're sick in the stomach, because you have to do it forever because you're infinite. Okay, but the point is more or less, if existence co-signed all of us into it being what we are, then there must be space for that, because that's already what's happening. Perhaps the lack of space is created by our resistance to allowing what is to be what it is, which also means, like, you can respect that you do not agree with other people if you can respect that you don't agree with other people, right? If you need other people to agree with you, then you can't respect that, right? But it's, again, a mind your business game, because major arcana are all about what you are accountable for. It's not about how many people you can galvanize or convince of other things. It's about why you are doing what you're doing, and not just that you're doing it or how you're doing it. Or even the results, right? Because there's a lot of means to ends people who are like, this will be worth it in the end. But it's like, you don't determine the end. That's not your job. You determine how you participate in the present, right? So that's that's 2024 mind your business strength, which fairly sure etymology wise means courage, means heart from French. But since I was just all up in the etymology dictionary, like, we might as well just know for sure, you know what I mean? And then I'm going to pull the key card. Strength. Oh, okay. It comes from Middle English, from Old English, from Proto Germanic, from Proto Indo European. Oh, it doesn't mean heart, courage at all. It means string, tight, narrow. Okay, so we're going to string. And right, from Proto Germanic, of course, it meant the most fucking patriarchal shit. It basically meant like property of being strong, bodily power, muscular force, vigor, firmness, fortitude, manhood, violence, moral resistance. Okay. Actually, I don't even know why I skipped over that, because that's just hella important. Okay. So this is what it meant, not in Middle English and Old English and Proto Germanic, bro. And by bro, I mean gender neutral, everyone. Okay. Property of being strong, bodily power, muscular force, vigor, firmness, fortitude, manhood, violence, moral resistance. From Proto Indo European, a word strength, strenk, meaning tight, narrow, which comes from string. So obviously we're going to hop over to string, which also means tight and narrow, taut, stiff. Okay, so some tight, narrow, taut, stiff, and then RTH, meaning to, which means forming nouns of action, state, or quality of verbs or adjectives. So the action, state, or quality of being tight, narrow, taut, stiff. Okay. So in that sense, we can say that strength, okay, yes, there's the image on the traditional rider weight with the person opening the lion's mouth. Okay, yes, we have that imagery too. But there's also this understanding that, like, what business does that motherfucker have to be in a lion's mouth? Yes, there's a story there. Maybe the lion ate a baby, but I think there's something to be said about understanding what action, state, or quality you need to have around being tight, narrow, taut, or stiff, right? Like, basically, where can you find room to become more pliable, vulnerable? What's the word? Pliable. I think I said that. Pliable. Um, Because like time, right? I keep saying to people, time is like reverse water. Water takes the shape of whatever you put it in, but time takes the shape of whatever you put in it. So the way that you occupy your space defines how your time is constructed, right? The time will take form around the space, right? Because when you're doing the thing that you most prefer to do, you're not actually wondering what time it is because it doesn't matter what fucking time it is because you're already doing with time what it's for. So the point is to think about, oh, when am I in those moments where I'm not looking at the clock, where I'm not constricted, where I'm not tight or narrow, where I'm not running on linear time, where I'm not imagining that time runs in a line? When am I in those states of being where I recognize that I'm exactly where I need to be, exactly when I need to be there? And when I'm in that authenticity, how often can I make that a moment to moment reality of my existence as opposed to a day to day or a week to week or a month to month? Yes? All right. So goodbye, monthly read people. Now on to doing the most. So our key card is going to be taken from, pretty sure it's going to be this deck, right? It's going to be the homie Nicole Mazara's deck again, which is the Hands for Healing. For our key card, I haven't even pulled it yet. And then I will be doing the individual pulls. Hands for Healing. I just want to do the